Hi viewers, today we will learn about Love Poem for a Wife by A.K. Ramanujan. So he is a famous writer, famous model. So let us see here Love Poem for a Wife by A.K. Ramanujan depicts the poet's sleeping wife with unusual, thoughtful and very memorable imaginary and then alludes to their unity as one being. Okay, so here nearly this poem has 8 stanzas poem that is separated into uneven sets of lines. The lines do not follow a specific rhyme scheme nor are they are similar lengths. In fact, the line lengths vary greatly, stretching from 4 words up to 11. And after reading a bit of love poem for a wife, it becomes clear that Ramanujan chose to write even stream of consciousness style. So first listen about the poem background whatever we have. Okay, then I will explain every stanza wise. Okay, right. This is evident through the way the lines flow into one another. The images are mixed and confused. It is oftentimes hard to tell where one scene starts and another begins. The speaker clutters his own thoughts with things he has experienced and with things he had liked too. His relationship is not a simple one, and this is reflected in the syntax. Okay, once we will say about the summary here. Love Poem for a Wife by A.K. Ramanujan is an untraditional, image rich love song dedicated to the poet's sleeping wife. Okay, so just outlook of the summary. The poem begins with the speaker describing a fight he had with his wife. It was so long that it felt like it lasted days. The argument brought to mind images from their different parts. He looks back into his wife's past and sees her life as an adolescent in Aden. Amen. Okay, the speaker also sees their present as well as if you look at this poem whatever we have, and then the speaker also sees their present in India and all the colors and patterns of Kerala. In the second half of the poem, he wakes from a dream in which he saw his face merge with his wife's. They became the same person, an androgynous god. When he gets up, he is happy to have had this experience, but sad that they are once again physically separated people. In the end, his wife remains sleeping and he gazes at her in the morning light. So let us once we look at the poetic techniques here. One of the most important techniques is enjambment. This refers to here this occurs when a line is cut off before its natural stopping point. It forces a reader down to the next line and the next quickly. One is forced to move, forced in, other to comfortably resolves a phrase or sentence. A perfect example of the way in which lines are cut off is between lines 4 and 5 of the first stanza. Okay, if you want to see these 4 and 5 lines, In the first stanza, definitely it has this type of enjoyment. Okay, right. Next, a reader has to get down to line 5 to find out what we would never know. Okay, and another example is between lines 4 and 5 in the fifth stanza. So in the first stanza 4 and 5 lines, and fifth stanza 4 and 5 lines. If you want to see this, once you check it. And other one is other technique used by Ramanujan in Love Poem for a Wife is alliteration. You know very well what is the meaning of alliteration. Okay, I will say it occurs when words are used in succession or at least appear close together and begin with the same letter. There is an example of this happening in the first stanza with the words childs. Okay, childs. If you want to see this, childs here, right? Childs. Okay, and then and changing also, changing here. Here also C consonant sounds will be there in the same way, as well as it is extended with the use of chameleon. Okay, chameleon. Here also C will be there. Okay, so this is called we called it alliteration. Consonant sounds will be repeated, that means we call it alliteration. So other example appears at the end of the stanza to with wearing white, wearing white. Okay, next, and metaphor and simile, how it will be given, let us see this. Metaphor and simile are both are used in the text as the speaker compares his wife to a variety of different things, such as a parenting difficult child, a parenting difficult child. So this is that we have to take like metaphor. Okay, another moment in the fifth stanza is the speaker uses a simile to compare his own face and hers to his dragnet past. Dragnet past. Okay, so these are the literary devices. And then next, stanza wise we have to look at that stanza 1. Okay, after a night of rage that lasted days, quarrels in a forest, waterfalls, exchanges, marriage. Okay, exploration of bias and places. We had never known, we would never known, my wife's always changing, cyric face. Chosen of all faces, a pointing difficult childs, changing in the chameleon, emerald wilderness of Kerala, some cousin too tall. So this is the first stanza. So let us see this summary about this. In this stanza lines of love poem, we know very well that for a wife, the speaker begins by describing a fight. Here begins describing about fight. Okay, describing fight, quarrels. We know very well, right? Okay, right. And he had with his wife, who's to his with his wife. It was long, even though it only last night. It felt like it lasted days. The argument brought to mind images from their past and their future. Okay, so here and as well as those places they would never know. The speaker describes forest and waterfalls as well as exchanges and marriages. This is the entire summary. Okay, and then the way in which these images bounce around to relate to how he speaks about and sees his wife's face. That refers to here It is Cyrix. It is a Cyrix face. Okay, this meaning here, she comes from Syria. Okay, she comes from Syria. When he thinks of his wife, he thinks of the way her face changes like chameleons. Here other things about his wife's face like chameleons. The speaker referenced the emerald wildernesses of Kerala. This is a state on India's Malabar coast. Okay, it is known for its beautiful natural spaces and animals. Okay, entire. This is the first poem of the summary. Okay. Okay, next let us see stanza number 2. Here, my thick men, rubber plant and paper vine, frocks with print patterns copied locally from the dotted butterfly, grandmother wearing white day and night in a village. Okay, so we look at this summary whatever we have given. Right, from the references to his wife's face, here the speaker goes into 3 stanzas of images that speak to his surroundings. They were brought to his mind when he thought about his wife. He images rubber plants. He images here rubber plants. He images like this. And pepper wine also, and frocks with print patterns. These patterns come from local dotted butterflies. Okay, and they are worn by grandmother. Okay, and day and night in a village. Okay guys, next let us see third one. Right, full of the color schemes of kites and garter snakes, adolescent in Aden among stabbing, Arabs betrayed and wept at, happy among ships in harbor and the evacuees the borrowed earth. Okay, so in this stanza, this is third one. Other speaks again of color schemes here. Again color schemes. The colors come from kites and garter snakes. Let us see here. Garter snakes and these colors, that means kites. These two found, where do we found these two? These two found in India. There is another location referred by the speaker in the second line. See the second line. What referred here? That location referred by the speaker in the second line of the third stanza. He speaks about Aden, that is the capital of Yemen. This is a place of great contrast. Okay, and the speaker tells of how his wife's adolescence was spent in the city, but she and her family members were unable to remain there. Okay friends, next let us see fourth one. Under the borrowed trees, thought dry and wet, hot and cold, and by the monsoon, then by the sidewalks, now on copper dust cones, the quarter townships in the Volcanias of Aden. Okay, this one, the contrast continued with the dry and wet and hot and cold. Contrast: dry and wet, hot and cold. So this is entire um, different. Okay, different colors. Okay, this is a very important thing. Okay, right. Let us see this once, a summary of this stanza about that. This is related to the monsoon season and the Cyrox, a kind of wind. Okay, a kind of wind that blows from North Africa across the Mediterranean. This refers to entire poem. And then it is interesting to consider how the speaker brings up these images. He is amusing that the reader is going to be able to relate to them. Therefore, one might want to consider the audience he had in mind. It could be one which is already familiar with the local customs, colors and plants of this region of India and the ups and downs and weather patterns in Aden. So this is enter. And the next, friends, next fifth one. Let us see this fifth one. I dreamed one day that face my own, yet hers, with my own nowhere to be found, lost, cut loose like my dragnet past. I woke up and groped turned on the realism of the ceiling light. Right? So let us say this. The speaker changes directions slightly in the fifth stanza. When he turns to speak about a specific dream he had, he recalls how he dreamed his face became her own and her face became his. The separation was nowhere to be found. So that refers to here, nowhere to be found what they have lost. Okay. So next, and he compares a way in which is his own history disappeared to a dragnet, a kind of net which is dragged through a river in order to catch fish. After having the dream, he woke up and groped around. He was brought back into reality when he turned on the ceiling light. Okay, friends, and you don't skip this video. Entire video you should listen, otherwise you miss the meaning of the summary. And next poem here. Found of a mirror in the mountain cabin, fallen behind a dresser, to look at my face, now on the face of her sleep, still asleep and very silent on the bed. Okay, next, the speaker continues to narrate what the aftermath of the specific dream was like in the sixth stanza of Love Poem for a Wife. He looked around until he found of a mirror. Okay, the mirror had fallen behind a dresser in the mountain cabin here. In the mountain cabin also there. And the mirror had fallen behind a dresser in the mountain cabin. He used it to look at his face, but he is also able to see her behind him. She was there on her side of the bed with her very serious face. Serious face. So friends, let us see here seventh stanza number 7. Next. Behind, happy for once at such loose of face, whole in the ambivalence of being of women of man contained in a common body, androgynous as a god, balancing stillness in the middle of a duel to make it dance, soon to be myself, a man unhappy in the morning to be himself again. The past still there, a drying net on the mountain. So look at this seventh stanza. He expresses happiness with the fact that she lost her face. He is remembering his dream and the fact that in the dream they were half woman and half man. Okay, they were both within a common body. The speaker compares this morphing of their selves to an androgynous god. He knows that soon the dream is going to pass and he will be back to being himself. He will be the drying net on the mountain. So finally, let us see stanza number 8. In the morning, in the waking, my wife's face is still fast asleep, blessing as by butterfly, snake, shepherd, and grandmother's other children by my love's only insatiable envy. So in this eighth stanza of love from her wife, morning comes. He wakes up first and looks again at his wife's face. She is still fast asleep, blessed as by butterfly and snake. The images spoken about in the first four stanzas come back to him, and these are the elements of her past, and she has been blessed by them. In the last line, he okay last line also, these are the elements of the past. Okay, and then she has been blessed with them. In the last line, he admits to a feeling of envy he has of anyone else who might have a claim over his wife. Okay, so this is the entire detailed explanation of Love Poem for a Wife by A.K. Ramanujan. Thanks for listening.